Welcome back. Today we're going to be taking this valve cover, stripping the red paint off of it, getting it painted black, and we're going to finish tightening up the valve cover with the gasket and new retainers that I got. So first we're going to get the paint stripped off of this and we're going to get it painted black. VTech, VTech, VTech. So I brought you to the car wash so that we can strip this out. I want to give this a rinse to get some of this grime out first, make sure that the Autocraft stripper has enough contact with the paint. So I'm going to fire up the power washer and give this a quick rinse first. Now I'm going to let that dry before I put the Autocraft stripper on there, and then I'll get right to it. Now that that's dry, I'm going to use the aircraft remover, give it an even coat. It says it works in 10 minutes, and then I'll power wash it again to remove all the residue. Now we just wait for 10 minutes. I think it's had enough time now. I'm going to go ahead and fire up that power washer. I think it looks pretty good. There are some places I'll still have to get in here with some sandpaper. I only brought enough coins with me for 2 goes. So the rest of this I'll just have to clean up with sandpaper. But I think it looks good. I'll clean up this VTech because you see the aluminum's getting a little discolored there. But I think it looks good and it's ready to go to paint. Now that we're back in the garage, I've got the valve cover taped off for everything I don't want to see black. I've sanded down the inside of the valve cover to make sure that there was no red or rough spots. I'm just going to paint over everything quickly. It shouldn't take too long, and then we'll let it dry and be close to buttoning this thing up. I went ahead and covered my bike with a sheet just to make sure I don't get any overspray on it. I'm going to be using a high temperature engine enamel, good to 550 degrees today. I'm going to be painting inside because it's real windy outside. I want to make sure that I get a good coat down and the wind doesn't mess it up. So I went ahead and cracked the back door, the garage door's cracked, and I'm going to make sure that I use a gas mask to get this painted. So let's get to it. The can says to give it about 10 minutes before in between coats. So I'll give this 10 minutes to dry, and then I'll put the second coat on. I think it looks really good so far. I'm going to give it a little bit more time to rest, about 10, 15 minutes, maybe 30. I'm going to put one last heavy coat on, and then I'll call it a wrap on this. All right, it's finally time for the last coat. For this coat, I'm going to move a little bit slower, get a little bit closer, and make sure it's a nice, heavy, thick coat. And then I'll let that cure overnight, and tomorrow we can finish buttoning this up, get the bolt in, and get the valve cover tightened down. I want to give you all an up-close view of the valve cover. As you can see, it's really black. I think it turned out pretty well, nice and glossy. Like I said, I'm going to let this cure overnight, and then tomorrow I'll bring you back for the taking off the tape and tightening up the valve cover. So on that, we'll go ahead and do a time hop for you. And we're back. For you, that was just a quick transition. For me, that was about 12 hours. I've let the paint cure on the valve cover, and now it's time for the moment of truth. I'm gonna remove the painter's tape, see the area that I wanted to remain aluminum instead of black. So I went ahead and set all the gaskets in. There's the blue valve cover gasket, and then there's these gaskets that come to seal where the spark plugs go in. Those came with the kit as well. So I went ahead and threw all those in, and now we'll go ahead and apply this valve cover to the engine. All right, on the engine, this was the bolt that was missing. I went ahead and put that in as well. So now we have 4 corners to tie down our valve cover gasket, and then we also have the 4 corners to tie down our wire cover. The valve cover kit came with new retainers, so I'll go ahead and get all these retainers put on, and then we'll tie the caps on. It looks like the kit that I had was missing one of the retainers. It's not a big deal. I had the old ones and I chose the best one. So I'll go ahead and put that on. It's going to be on an area that's covered. So I'm not entirely worried about how that looks there. This area here, you won't even be able to see it. Well, it looks like that's going to conclude this video. I'm going to end up needing new wires. I figured I would need new wires, but I didn't know to what extent. But once I've looked down in here, some of these wires, they've actually have nest in them. There's a nest in this wire. There's a nest in this wire. And I tried to scrape it out, but it is nasty down in there. I'm not sure if you can see it. I'll try to get you a view. It's pretty nasty down in there. I don't want to put that on new spark plugs and ruin them. When I tried to scrape it out, there was even some something still alive in there because it was wet and juicy when it pulled out. So I'm gonna end it here, get new spark plug wires, and then I'll bring you back for that. We'll throw those on and then we'll start replacing the clutch.